Uh,
Totally.
but you mentioned that you did a lot of, or you still do a lot of organizing as well. So it's not just like putting. This is the key, and we talk about this a lot on the site. And obviously, you're a huge resource for this for us in terms of going from a house, and this is for both sides. Not even if a guy like I moved out of our house and my ex is still there, but a lot of people sell their family house and both move into either townhomes or apartments. I remember at your place, we had this whole conversation about how you wanted to have your room upstairs, but you have a staircase that wouldn't fit the bed frame or the bed. And
Yeah.
so you know this very, very intimately, so to speak. How do you get people prepared for downsizing when they have way too much stuff? Is it just like sell it all off and start fresh, or take what is necessary and then the other stuff? And conversely, if you have nothing and you're moving to a small space, like what do you do? What do you bring with you, and what do you buy?
Yeah. So I was the one who moved out, and I recently just moved into a much smaller space. So I went from a 2,000 square foot townhome into a 1,300 square foot apartment. So yeah, we couldn't bring everything with us. So, I strategized and I planned. And when I started packing up, I brought the essentials for me and the kids. And I sold a lot of stuff. Facebook Marketplace is a great spot to sell items, to find new items. I'm there all the time. So you definitely just have to bring what's important, get your kids involved, go through their rooms with them. Obviously, you need to talk to the ex as well to be sure that you're sharing the items so your kids have some of their things at both houses. But yeah, you just got to bring the essentials with you. If there are things that you want to keep, see if you can store them somewhere if they're not going to fit in your new space. At a family member's home, maybe you'll have a basement or an attic that you can store things in, maybe, or that's really it. But you can't bring everything,
Right.
especially if you're in a smaller space.
And so this is the situation that I'm in, and I can't believe this, but the other day I was just like sifting through random houses in my area. And I didn't think at this point, less than a year out, I'd be like, let's look for a home. And I'm not looking, but it just like my general interest in like what's for sale around me, because I know that that's coming up at some point, that, I can't live the rest of my life in a 2-bedroom apartment when I have 2 kids. They deserve their own rooms. And I'm trying to do that. But so this is what my issue was with regard to like the downsizing. Like I was fine leaving most of my stuff there. But now if I'm looking for a home that's 3-4 bedrooms or whatever it is and a lot more space, can I go back to my ex and be like, hey, by the way, can I have all that stuff that you offered me before and I said I didn't want? Like, you sell all this stuff, you just have to go buy it again in a year. So would you advise people who know it's a stopgap, like I'm just going to rent for a little bit, to get a storage space, to spend the money on one of those places, or just like beg friends, like, keep my couch for a year, I'm getting it back?
Right. Yeah. I would say if you really do know it's going to be short term, let's say you're only going to have to rent a storage space for a year, then I would say definitely do it, because, it's expensive if you now have to go move into a new home and furnish the whole place. I will say though, there's many ways to get inexpensive furniture. I still highly recommend using IKEA for some things because it's super affordable. The sofa that's in my place here is from IKEA, and it makes good sense because my kids are still young. They're going to mess it up. So, get a storage unit for things that you really absolutely want to hold on to. You can get them for pretty inexpensive, and they're becoming more and more popular these days. So and there's storage facilities everywhere around now. So
that storage facilities became like the old folks home of like 10 years ago, where it's like, oh, people are living longer, we need to put places where they can live. And now it's like, well, they all have stuff, what are we going to do? So like, it's amazing. That's the business to get in. What are we doing?